What up, everyone? Welcome to the draft recap for Killing the Clock. We're back with our basketball experts, Zaid Hadid, Mr. NBA himself. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
And Rob Neat Singh. What's up, man?
Not much, man.
Hey, you know what? That really sucked today watching the U.S. lose to Belgium. That really sucked. Tim Howard is an American Jesus.
He
I mean, I love soccer, but we're like way behind other countries. We have a lot of catching up to do.
Oh, really?
Our passing sucks. I'm not trying
That
to
is
hate. I
that,
love, I
no,
love,
no,
I,
that,
I
that is
support the
definitely
team.
that is definitely true.
Yeah.
faced a better
Hey
team.
man, any exposure is good. So
Yeah.
guys, let's talk about the draft. Okay, so uh, let's go right off the bat. Number one, the Cavs take Andrew Wiggins, who is the number one prospect for a long time. Uh, well, what do you guys think, Ralph?
I think he had the best suit by far. That was like the freshest suit I've ever seen at a draft. Um, But if I'm the Cavs, I think I would rather have gone with Parker. He's just a safer pick. But part of me thinks that the Cavs went with the Wiggins because they've already said that they think he could play the two, and they're gonna try to go after LeBron. We all know this.
Yeah, I think Wiggins is a good pick. I mean, he has the most potential of any player in the class, and I just think him and Kyrie Irving could be a pretty good backcourt.
But is he a two or do you think he's a three?
I think he's more of a three. I mean, he's 6'8". I don't think they're gonna put a 6'8" guy at the two, but I mean, he could. I haven't really seen him. I mean, they projected him to be a small forward. He's got a long wingspan. I just think that he can. I think he's more of a three. I don't think the LeBron thing's happening either for Cleveland. Just
No,
from all the
that's not. He's not coming back to
yeah.
Cleveland. Everyone needs to get past that, please.
I think he's just gonna
Everyone
be
just needs to let that go. Everyone needs to let that go.
I agree, but it would be the best story, wouldn't it? Like LeBron gets his rings, comes back, and then makes another run at the title with the Cavs.
yeah.
That's what everyone wants to happen, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it won't happen.
For Wiggins, I think is a great pick for the team because they needed a defensive wing. I always like the idea. I like the idea of perimeter defensive players in the league now. Like you need to guard the three. He's versatile. He could guard up to, 1 to 4 if he gains strength. He's got all the physical tools to be a great defender right off the bat in the league. So Kyrie, doesn't defend. So they need that on the Cavs. So I give that an A. It's a can't miss pick. Let's go to you guys have draft grades, but let's do it. Let's do draft grades. Why
I,
not?
I would say an A also or A minus. I would have gone Parker, but you can't go wrong with Wiggins either. He has more potential.
Yeah, I think I would just give him an A just because I think that was the right pick. I mean, he's 19. I think he's gonna be a pretty damn good player in the league.
You know who else gets an A? The Bucks at number 2. You can't miss Jabari Parker. He's the safest player in the draft. Yeah, moving on.
Yeah, not much to talk about here, to be honest. I mean, I love his character. He's a super humble guy. He was saying that if he did a mock draft, he would have him second in the second round, 60th pick overall. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't get a
What a
much.
humble dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he's the most NBA ready by far.
And then the Philly pick, though. Hold on a sec. So I think he's the best player in the draft by far, but he's out for 5 to 8 months. So I give this grade a B plus because I think he has just so much potential, but he's not going to. I mean, Philly is in no rush to come back, but that I had to ding it somehow, and I'll give it a B plus because that has the potential to be an A plus steal 3 years from now. You know what I'm saying?
I think Philly overall had a really good draft. I don't know if I would have gone with Darius Arch later on, but we'll talk about that later, I guess. Oh, but I mean, Embiid overall, I think will be the best player in this draft if he's healthy. But it goes in their it goes in their plan of tanking another season, which is what they're gonna do. And I don't think we're gonna see Embiid this year, which is sad.
Yeah, I agree with Rob. I mean, they got Embiid. He might not even play a minute next year, but they have more reason to tank. And then they got Dario Saric, which is another guy's gonna come in 2 years. And I mean, they're just gonna pack on first round pick of top three players for the next couple of years, and they'll be a scary team in like 5 6 years.
Maybe, potentially.
Yeah,
In theory, it's a good idea. I mean, they're tanking over the course of like multiple seasons. Like
yeah, even
this is a long-term tank. I mean,
yeah,
if it doesn't work out, then you're
even
gonna
the
that GM is gonna get fired. Sam Hinkie is gonna get fired.
yeah. I think
So
the owner and
coming in,
GM, the owner and GM did say he told the fans just to be patient with the team.
yeah, I mean, I know a lot of Philly fans are probably not happy with getting a prospect that is out for a year and then another one that's out for 2 years.
He's talking to Philly fans. Philly fans aren't patient at all. That's like the
I
worst
know,
fans.
right? You think like they would be pissed all the time that their team is not good.
Yeah, ironic, I guess.
Yeah. But let's not diss Philly fans. I'm sure they're good people. Any Philly fans watching the show. Anyways, coming in number 4, Orlando. A scary defensive team now with Aaron Gordon. I think that to me that's a B because he still can't shoot and no one else on the team can shoot. So, but yeah, what do you guys think about Aaron Gordon?
I would give. I like the concept they were going for. They were going for a big first, and then they were trying to get Payton, but they gave in the pick. They have to give up a first round future pick to get Payton, and I think that's where I'm going to give the overall grade maybe a C plus, B minus. Gordon's a good pick. I think they kind of reached for him, but that team's going to be really good defensively. But as you said, shooting wise, they're going to be struggling. And Payton's, as we know, is I've said on this show that his to describe his shooting in one word, it would be complete trash. So um, I would say B minus overall, I guess.
What was the trade with for it was Dario Saric for Peyton, and what did they have to add to move up two spots?
A first rounder and a second rounder. Next year, second rounder, and it just said a future first rounder. So we'll find out about that later.
Huh. I didn't. They gave up a first round pick to get Peyton.
Yeah, in addition to Darius Arch.
To
Well, coming
really.
in at number 5, the Utah Jazz with their point guard of the future. Bye bye, Trey Burke. Just kidding.
I don't know if that's bye bye Trey Burke, but because I mean I think they're still going to see how he develops this year. If he doesn't really develop much, I could see him gone. But initially, I think they want to try Dante at the 2 and just see how he does at the point guard position at times. So I mean,
It seems to me that they want to make Dante the point guard, but
probably.
that's just how it seems to me. I think I don't know. I don't know how they're going to make that work, but obviously they maybe see it as insurance and like just BPA. They want to get star power, and that's the next projected superstar, possibly. Like he has a lot of upside. So, but big boomer bust pick. I mean, I give it a B. Yeah, Exum is really cool because he gets to the rim at will. That's something Trey Burke can't do.
Yeah. I think you're right. They went for the best player available, and he was that next guy. And I'm pretty sure they didn't have him falling to 5, but I think they'll be happy that he did. But they have a lot of other issues. I think they if you look at the overall draft, I think it went pretty well because they got Rodney Hood really late, and he's going to be the small forward of the future. I'm pretty sure. So overall, I would say they had a decent draft, maybe B. I would say B plus.
Yeah.
I like Exum a lot, so I'd probably give him an A minus, honestly.
Yeah, I give him an A minus too. I mean, him, Dante Exum, and Trey Burke, and if they keep Gordon Hayward, that's a pretty good backcourt, and with Gordon Hayward too. So I think this team has a lot of potential, and no one really knows how this guy's gonna come out, but I feel like he's gonna be a pretty good player.
What do you guys think about the 6th pick?
Oh man, you already know me and Marcus Smart. I'm a huge Marcus Smart fan, and I think if the Celtics weren't going to go with Rondo as their future point guard, then Smart was the next best thing to build it for the future. And I think I give their overall draft an A plus. I think they had a great draft. They got James Young at 17, which is a steal in my opinion. And they have a backcourt of the future now. They don't. I think Rondo's expendable, and they could get some good value in return for him.
I mean, I think it was a peculiar pick actually at 6 for Marcus Smart because honestly, like they have Rondo. I mean, if you trade Rondo, then it's an A for me because I love Marcus Smart as a point guard. Uh, but if they don't trade Rondo, then that's a really weird backcourt, and maybe they think Marcus Smart could be an off guard and play off of Rondo. But then you have just two point guards who can't shoot. Uh, so you have two guards who can't shoot, and I mean that's not something you want in today's NBA. So um, I've heard Isaiah Thomas to Celtics rumors, and that would be pretty cool. Isaiah Thomas and Marcus Smart would be a really nice compliment in my opinion. Uh, so I give that grade a B.
Yeah, I give him a B or B plus. I mean, you guys know how skeptical I am on Marcus Smart. Don't know if he's a 1 or a 2, but it'll be kind of weird if they keep Rondo, how they kind of mesh together. But yeah, like Shaheen said, I think if they trade Rondo, it could work out. I still don't think Smart has the capability to be the one for that team, but if they trade for Isaiah
He's a,
Thomas,
he's a hard he's a hard worker, so he can learn. But I think you need him to marinate for about 3 years,
yeah, it'll take two. I think it'll take 2 or 3 years
2 or 3 years. Yeah.
to to gain his ball handling skills and everything. But I mean, he could be a really good player. I mean, I think it's just going to take some time.
I mean, it's not just ball handling, and in his case, it's running an offense, and I mean, so I mean, to me, he seems like more of an off guard. I think he could get a shot. I mean, there are so many players that have terrible shots going into a draft and being drafted, and they end up being able to shoot. Marcus Smart has the work ethic to work at his shot, and if he does, boom, the sky's the limit for him. I mean, that's all it takes for some players. Just need to be able to get good shooting mechanics and keep that down.
I think the Celtics went with the best player available also, and
Yeah,
it didn't make
yeah,
sense for them to go with. Yeah, it just didn't make sense for them to go with Julius Randle because they have Jeff Green, Sullinger, and Olynyk. They have plenty of big guys, and I don't think they see Rondo as their future because they know in order to keep Rondo, they're going to have to build a playoff team, which isn't that hard in the East, but they still have to build a playoff team before within the next 2 years, which is going to be difficult. So I think that's why they're just in total rebuild mode, and I think Young and Smart are going to complement each other really well. Young is a really good shooter, and I know Smart's going to struggle his rookie year, but like look out in his third year. I think he's gonna show up big time.
Yeah, I think the Celtics pick is actually a great example of maybe BPA because I had him as my best player available, Smart, on my big board, but I'm not sure about the fit with Boston, so that's why I'm hesitant to give it a good grade. But he was definitely the best player on my board, and when a team does that, I can't really fault them for making the selection. If they can make it work, then I agree with the pick. So at coming in at number 7, the Lakers.
I think this wasn't a bad pick. I know some of you guys might disagree with it, but I also think the Lakers went with the best player available, and Julius Randle is a hard worker, um, and he's more NBA ready than and a lot of the players that were left, and they need a power forward because I don't think they're gonna re-sign Gasol. I could be wrong, but I think Gasol is gonna leave, and I think Randall's the power forward of their future. So I would say a B plus also.
yeah, I'll give the Lakers. I mean, I think he was arguably the second most NBA ready player in the class, and I'm not a big fan of him. A short power forward. The Lakers want to still try to win now mode, so they try to get the most NBA ready player at their spot. So I think that's why they picked him, and also they're not sure if Pau Gasol is going to come back, so he'll be the power forward of the future. We'll see how he pans out, but I think he kind of has a really good post moves and for offensively, and it'll be interesting to see how he works with Kobe.
And well, this is a fun grade for me. The Lakers. Well, you know what? I had Julius Randle outside of the top 10 of my big board, so I can't give them a good grade. I don't think he's going to be a good player long term. But let me just give my fantasy tip of the day. Julius Randle would be my second rookie pick in redraft leagues this year because he projects as a top 10 and 10 player. I think he could get 12 points at least or a game this season with the opportunity he has, and maybe 10 rebounds. I think he'll score more than 12 points, but that's his floor. I think he could score in the NBA. I just don't like the fact that his short arms. He's undersized and he doesn't play defense. So I give the grade a C. Haha, Lakers. Number 8 though. Oh boy.
Oh man, this one I would definitely was not expecting.
Ray Allen.
The
I don't
White
know
Ray
if
Allen.
that's a fair comparison, but I think the Kings made a decent pick. That they were I think 27th in 3-point shooting last year. The only guy who could really shoot threes on the team was Isaiah Thomas and Rudy Gay, I guess. So it was definitely a need that they or a place where they needed improvement. And I think Nick Stauskas does that, and I love his confidence. He's very confident, and he knows his limits, and I think he's a leader. So everything the Kings could need.
Yeah, I mean, as much of a Kings fan as I am, I think I would give him a C plus, B minus. Um, I mean, the Kings' number one priority is defense right now, and they did not pick up a defensive player. So I'm not too happy about that. But I mean, Noah Vonleh was on the board. I thought that was the right pick, but I mean, I didn't really know too much information on Nick Stauskas. But after I looked at all his videos and researched him, I mean, he's going to be a good shooter. He's going to he has good ball handling skills. It's gonna be interesting to see how he plays defense because that's a pretty big weakness of his. I think he could be a good player, kind of like maybe I mean if he gets his ball handling skills and if he gets that going, I think he could be his peak will be like maybe a Joe Johnson type player, but his ball handling skills got to be really up there. But I mean he is. I mean the Kings were one of the bottom teams to for three point shooting. So offensively, that was a good pick. But I mean, their defense is horrible. So why not pick up a defensive player?
Well, this pick for me, I like the pick. I think the Kings finally just picked the player they like instead of in recent drafts let talent fall to them and take the highest projected pick at that point. They maybe it was a perceived reach at the time, but I think they went for the guy they like, and he's a good fit for the team. And I think maybe Ben McLemore hasn't panned out, and they need 3-point shooting. I mean, they need to space the floor because they have Cousins, Rudy Gay. I mean, guys that need to operate and have space. And this guy spaces the floor and allows our offense to be more efficient. So I think that's what Malone. I mean, Malone loves him, by the way. He raved about him the entire year to Vivek. So I think I'll give it a B. It has the potential to be a good pick, and it depends on what happens with Ben McLemore. I mean, we could maybe flip him for something in the future, or maybe we could stick with him, and this competition could spur him to be a better player. But he's a rookie, right? I give Ben McLemore another year to make that leap before I say anything about him. Coming in number 9, guys. Finally, Noah Vonleh finally gets picked. He was the surprising prospect to fall in the top 10.
Yeah, I think so. I actually had him going at 5 or 6. I know Boston really liked him. Um, he he's a project though, and I think he actually fell for a reason because he's not NBA ready. But that being said, he has the NBA tools. He has huge hands. He has a good wingspan. He has a lot of tools and potential, and I think he's going to fit well in Charlotte. And he could learn from Big Al down there, and I think he's going to do fine. He has the defensive tools to fit on their team. They're a really good defensive team, and I think I think he should start for them eventually down the line in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I would give him probably an A minus, just because I mean, most of the reports were going to say that they were going to pick Doug McDermott, but every year a player drops, and Noah Vonleh was this year, and they picked him up. I mean, defensively, he's not too bad. He can block shots. He is young. He's not that NBA ready, but I mean, he can still shoot as well. I think he's going to be a pretty decent player in the league in a couple of years, but it's going to take some time. I think it'll be a pretty good. I think he'll have a pretty good chemistry with Al Jefferson, but we'll see how he pans out. I think the Kings should have picked him, but I think the Charlotte Hornets got a good pick.
Well, I love the pick. I mean, Josh McRoberts probably not going to be on a team anymore, and so they needed a power forward. I know they were looking at McDermott, but when you have Noah Vonleh fall down, dude, I mean that's an A pick. I mean that's that guy was talked about going at Orlando, Utah, Boston before the draft. So when you get him at 9, that's good value, and he fits what they want to do, and he plays the position of the guy who's about to leave. So it's an A to me. Elfrid Payton at 10 for Orlando. Now they have a really good defensive team, as alluded before. So like they don't know how to shoot. They don't have any shooters, and Jameer Nelson was just waived. So I think this could be a very special team. If everyone develops offensively, this could be a scary team in the East. I mean, I like what they're doing, actually.
So Oladipo developed a better three-point shot as the season went on. That being said, they're gonna not. Peyton's not a very good shooter, and Gordon's not a very good shooter, even from the free throw line. Tobias Harris might actually be their best shooter on their team, which is kind of sad. But as you said, if they live up to their potential, they're going to be really good, and they're going to be really good defensively this year already. So the only problem I really have with what the Magic did was giving up that future first round pick, because this team's not going to be that good in the next couple of years. So if that future first round pick is a pick in maybe 2016 or something, or not even 16 would be kind of early, but I think they just gave up too much for Peyton. They got the guy they wanted, which is always good, but I think they gave up too much to get him.
Yeah, I mean, they did give up a first-round pick and a second-round pick to move up 2 spots, but I think Elfrid Payton's actually going to be a pretty good player. I mean, looking at their team now, they got Payton at the 1, Oladipo at the 2, Harris at 3, Gordon at the 4, Vucevic at the 5. That's a pretty good team for the future. I think they can even be a playoff contender next year in the East. I think overall they had a pretty good draft. Payton and Gordon, 2 good defensive players, 2 athletic players. I think they did a good job.
I like the pick a lot because I like it when teams pick twice in a draft and they have a theme. I mean, they have a theme going on here with very good defensive players right off the bat. They have the physical tools to be good defensively. I mean, Aaron Gordon's opponent percentage was 34%. That's elite. That's elite stuff right there. I mean, that's really good on-ball defense, and I think he in the scheme that he played in college, he wasn't utilized to the best of his defensive capabilities. You could put him potentially in the NBA on multiple positions, different players, the best player on the team. He's got the length and the lateral quickness to keep up with people. And then now you have Elfrid Payton. I really like what they're doing, and I mean they sacrificed the pick, so I give this a B. But it'd be interesting to see what Elfrid Payton does because I think he has point guard skills. I really do. I just think that the shot's going to be a problem, obviously, but I like what Orlando's doing, and I like their draft overall.
So Chicago was number. They had the 16th and the 19th pick, but they traded it to Denver for the 11th pick, just so they could move up and pick Doug McDermott. They also really like Nick Stauskas, but McDermott will fit their plans if Melo doesn't end up coming to Chicago. And I think if Melo does end up coming to Chicago, then they could use him in a sign and trade to New York. So I think either way, it helps them. Chicago was dead last in points
Wait,
per game
why would they send him to New York?
in a sign and trade because you would have to send to make cap room for Melo. They still don't. There's no way Chicago could offer a max contract to Carmelo
Oh, I
as
see.
yeah. So they have to get rid of someone. It would probably be Carlos Boozer and then some young asset. It could be McDermott. But it doesn't have to be. It could
I
be
don't
Jimmy
why. I
Butler.
mean, I don't think it has to be. I think they like McDermott. They went traded up to get him, and I think he really fits the team. I don't know about Dunleavy's contract situation, but to me, he seems like a guy that could come off the bench and give them scoring, which is exactly what they need. I mean, that's kind of like what they're going for with Melo too. So any scoring on that team, which is very good defensively, and a run like a very well disciplined team, Thibodeau team. They just need more scoring. And
Yeah,
a guy coming off the bench, that's what he projects to me. And I think he could be on the second team, like in the second quarters of games, like creating offense for the second team. Coming off like being their sixth man basically. I think he could be potentially that kind of player. I really like his offensive versatility. I like that they traded up to get him too, because I really like his skill set and he fits that team nicely in my opinion. So I give that an A.
Yeah, I'd give him probably a BB plus. I mean, McDermott's arguably the second best shooter in the class. Um, I
Arguably
think
the
they just gave
best.
arguably the best, true. But I think that giving up the 16 and 19th, I think that's just a little too much just to move up 5 spots. But that's the only reason I knocked their grade down. But McDermott, if they get Carmelo, even if they don't get Carmelo, they're gonna have someone to kick out to with Rose, and if they actually get Melo. But I mean, he can be that guy. Like I'm sure one of their power forwards is going to be leaving if Melo comes. So if Boozer leaves, it'll be Gibson and McDermott at the 4, and so they can share minutes. I think that'd be a good a good big three in the front court with Noah, Gibson, and McDermott for shooting reasons, and Gibson and Noah for defensive. So I think he plays a very good he would play a very good role with the Bulls.
so Philadelphia at 12, they're the ones that traded the Magic because they were initially at 10, and they got Dario Saric, which is an interesting pick in my opinion. I think it was probably the best player available. That being said, though, I think they have a lot. If Embiid is healthy down the line and Noah is healthy down the line, where does Dario fit? I think Dario is actually a better fit than Noel. So if they trade Noel and in time for Dario to get back, then it could be a great pick down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably just give it probably A minus. I mean, like I said before, they're just trying to tank for the next couple of years, and I mean, they picked up another first round pick from that trade, and I think a second round pick from that trade. So, I mean, they're just stacked with young talent for the next 4 or 5 years. It's going to take some time to develop, but they have a system that they're trying to do, and I think it could work. Just it's going to take a lot of time, and Philadelphia fans are not the most patient, but we'll see how they handle it.
Oh, I mean, I really do like this pick, and you know how irrational I am about Dario Saric. I think he's a surefire Hall of Famer, so I give this an A plus.
Well, if he was a surefire Hall of Famer, we would all give him a A plus. I don't know if we all see that.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, I mean, you sometimes I just have these visions of prophecies, and I just see, I've seen Dario
Uh,
Saric as the next best player uh, in the league. Like he's going to be better than
Like in the
Dirk.
Durant
I'm just
LeBron
kidding.
conversation.
It's just, oh yeah, absolutely. We're talking about 8-time MVP.
Are you serious? I mean, what do you like about him so much?
I mean, the guy is like a mix of every single badass ever created. I mean, just like
I mean, I
it,
think you've compared him. What was your comparison with Boris Diaw?
no, my comparison was Chuck Norris.
Okay.
I think that's the most accurate prediction we've had so far.
Yeah.
I mean, and the guy knows he's not quite ready yet, so he signs a contract in Turkey for 2 years. So, and Philadelphia again has no qualms about waiting. I give the pick a B, because I think he was the next guy on my big board. Because of the talent, just at the talent level. I thought he was going to slide more during the draft, but Philadelphia again, they're a team that doesn't really value the immediate future, so. They're happy to take talent as it falls. Joel Embiid and Dario Saric. Again, some Philly fans probably don't like the fact that they won't be able to play, but potentially you have a very good team. Dario Saric is a point forward. Pulls down rebounds and sprints down and gets easy buckets and creates for his teammates. Can shoot. He has a great skill set. He's 6'10". He's got good size. And he's pretty fast for a power forward. He's got handles too, which is cool. So I really like him. So yeah, I give that a B. Minnesota. Zach LaVine. Did anyone see him curse after he got picked by Minnesota?
Yeah, I just want to say he actually didn't like people think that he didn't really want to go to Minnesota. That wasn't the case. He actually just said what he said on
Yeah,
because
he,
he
he, he
was
was just
shocked.
taken aback. He was taken
Yeah,
aback at the moment. Yeah.
yeah. But that was funny nonetheless. People like
Oh yeah.
Minnesota fans were hating on him for a while.
No wonder Kevin Love wants to leave.
I
At
mean,
least
otherwise,
have something to talk about, you know? Oh man, Minnesota sucks.
Yeah, Zach Levine. I think he's like he was the had the most potential at that time and at that pick. I think he's very athletic. Obviously, doesn't really have a position. He's a streaky shooter, but um, I think they just wanted to get the guy with the most potential. I think they did the right thing. And he's been compared to Russell Westbrook, which I don't believe, but. I think he could be interesting. I mean, he could be an all-star in like maybe 3, 4, 5 years, but it's gonna take some time.
This could potentially be a game-changing player, but it depends on what you want to do with him. I don't think he'll. I mean, some people. I think they'll try him out at point guard, and I don't think it'll work. I don't think he has point guard skills, and I don't think he'll get them. But if he does, scary player. To me, he seems like a score-first guy. Who he projects to me as maybe like uh, a combo guard who could. I mean, there's so many in the league now that could just score for you, which is a pretty good a guard to have next to Rubio. Honestly, I mean, you think about that would be a good tandem to have a guy who could just explode to the rim. He needs to add strength, but this guy has crazy athleticism, and he could be a scoring punch, kind of like maybe Jamal Crawford, but like more athletic Jamal Crawford. But can he ever get one-on-one skills like Jamal Crawford? He's 19. He's all potential at this point. So I mean, I give that a B because you don't know what you're going to get with him, and Minnesota has to take their time with him.
yeah, this is just a like potential pick in a way. Like he has a really good jump shot, but he settles for it too much. He falls in love with his jump shot, and he has the ability to get to the hole, but he doesn't use it enough. So I like it, but my only issue is if Kevin Martin's still there, then it's going to take longer for Zach to develop. And I think they need to move Kevin Martin so that they could develop Levine at the two because I think Minnesota wants Rubio as their future point guard. I know, like some of us hate his offensive skills because he doesn't really have that many. in terms of
I
scoring.
love Ricky Rubio. I'll defend Ricky Rubio anytime. I love Ricky Rubio.
I,
I know he has deficiencies, but I think he's still a sick player.
no, I think he's extremely underrated, to be honest. But he struggles to score is basically my point.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
yeah, but basically, I see them trying him at the two because I think they really like Rubio.
All right, guys. We got Phoenix with T.J. Warren. What do you think about this one, Zayd?
I think he's a good player. Was he a 6'8" small forward? He's a pretty good scorer. It may not, it's not usually he's not really a great 3-point shooter, but I think he can work well with Bledsoe if they keep him and Goran. So I mean, overall they had a great draft. They got what 3 picks? They got Warren, Ennis, and Bogdan. I think that they loaded up on a lot of young talent, and I think they did a pretty good job overall in the draft.
I'm okay with this pick. I think they should have gone with Adrian Payne because he could spread the floor more, and they're not sure if Channing Frye is going to stay there. I do see TJ Warren possibly more as a four in in the NBA, just because he struggled to shoot, like you said at times. But at NC State in their tournament game, they lost the game because he couldn't make free throws down the line. So that's my only issue with him at shooting. So I think that he could play the power forward. But if you're going to go with the power forward, I would have gone with Adrian Payne and went 15.
I mean, this guy to me is a scorer. I think he could be a good player. Like he could probably be like a Karan Butler. I like his scoring ability. I mean, I think Phoenix needs that. He's got he could work well off the ball. He could spot up and knock down jumpers. I mean, I don't have a problem with it honestly. It's a nice pick to me.
I just want to point out some other steals that happened in the draft. I think the biggest one was Kyle Anderson at 30. I mean, this guy was projected to be a lottery pick for most of the year, even in the 20s, but I did not think he felt he would fall all the way down to 30 with the Spurs, and it seemed like the perfect fit with just his point guard abilities at the small forward position, and with the Spurs passing like the way they do, I think it was just a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs gonna Spurs. I mean, they are just absolutely brilliant when it comes to draft, and I mean, he's a nice combo guard. Can see the floor pretty well. Um, his defense is kind of not the greatest, and he's not the best shooter, but I think he's a pretty good decision maker. And I mean, he was projected to be what in the lower 20s, but they got him at the 30. As usual, the Spurs just pick up great pieces in the draft, and they continue to become one of the greatest franchises of all time.
Oh, jeez, come on, guys. I mean, he was called slow mo for a reason. I mean, but I do like the pick. I think it's an A. But come on, let's not. I mean, let's all calm down about Kyle Anderson now.
Kyle Anderson.
I like Shabazz Napier being picked because that's what LeBron wants to do. If he likes him, that's a good pick. I mean, let's talk about. I mean, at 15, Adrian Payne for Mike Budenholzer to shooting zealot. That's a good pick because he could shoot threes. Everyone on that team could shoot threes. Everyone. That's what they're about. Everyone has to be able to shoot threes. It's such a sick team now. They're like the Spurs East. Speaking of the Spurs.
Well, I kind of see him as a kind of different type of Suns. I mean, the Suns kind of live on the 3-point line too, and I thought that's why he would have been a good fit with the Suns. But my only thing with Adrian Payne is he has a lung condition, so he could only play a limited amount of minutes per game. But other than that, I mean, I love his wingspan. I think he has a 7-foot wingspan. He has a good height. He's really good defensively, and he proved it on a Michigan State team that was one of the best defensive teams in the country. So overall, I'm a huge fan of Payne. I think he should have gotten in earlier, but a good pick by Atlanta, and I'm not sure if this means they'll keep Millsap after next year, but we'll wait and see and what
Uh,
happens.
I think they'll keep both. I think
Yeah.
Millsap is could teach him. I think he's a savvy vet, and he'll be a good influence for him. Adrian Payne, yeah, he's a good player. I like him. Dude, at 16, the Bulls pick Jusuf Nurkic. Oh wait, is this the Bulls? No, they
They traded it to Denver.
no, this is yeah, okay. So the Nuggets have Jusuf Nurkic, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest. My grade is incomplete because I don't know this guy. I didn't for whatever reason I didn't scout him. So you guys tell me about him.
He's a big body, and he can move really well, and I heard he's really good in the pick and roll. Uh, it's a potential pick again. I actually like the pick they made at 19 with Gary Harris, but they could.
Whoa! He's
you
being
love
compared to Boogie. Oh, come on! This guy's not going to be like Boogie Cousins. Come on, get out of here.
Where'd they make who made that comparison?
Oh, I don't want to name names. It's
Okay,
just
fair enough, but
I
I don't agree with that. I think I'm not sure who to compare him with. I think he's like a Oshik type player who relies more on the pick and roll. If he has a good point guard feeding him the ball, he could be really good. But I, I don't really like the centers they have in Denver, so it makes sense to them.
he's a huge dude, and I mean, looking at his video right now and making observations, he has soft hands, so he maybe see him in the pick and roll. I mean, I actually I don't know. He doesn't seem athletic to me, but he could probably be a capable backup center. I mean, he's a huge dude. He's 6'11", 280. All right, we could work with that maybe. They got Mozgov. They got Costa Koufis. Oh wait, no, Costa Koufis is with Memphis, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's only 19. I think he can. I mean, he's a big dude. He's so strong.
Keeping a trend of foreign big men. Gallinari coming along, coming back.
From Boston. But yeah, I mean, another steal I thought was pretty good was Rodney Hood for Utah. They got him at the 23rd pick, and he was projected to be around 14, 15, 16. I think he's an excellent shooter. He shot 42% from the three-point line last year for Duke. He's 21, so he's more NBA ready than a lot of players too. So I think Utah Jazz made a good pick with him.
One of my favorite picks in the draft. Oh, my bad.
Who is? Oh, go ahead. Who's your favorite pick?
Well, oh no. One of my favorite picks was James Young. I mean, I had him really high on my big board, and I mean, I liked the Celtics draft overall. If we know what we're doing with Rondo, it could that could be this could be potentially a very good draft for them because I really like James Young. He's got an intriguing blend of athleticism and good value 3-point shooter. So I like what they did there.
Yeah, like I said, I think the Celtics had the best draft in my opinion, but I'm biased.
Well, that you love Marcus Smart too much.
And James Young. I really like James Young. But besides that, I want to know you guys' opinion on Bruno Caboclo or whatever, the guy on Toronto. That guy was unknown, and Masai Ujiri was like, I don't really care. I know what I'm doing. So he was. I watched a Draft Express video on him, and people compared him to Giannis and from Milwaukee, and I kind of see that comparison. But I actually think he has more basketball ready skills than him, and he's still unknown, and he's probably not going to be in the league this year. But it was just a really confusing pick, especially in this draft, to go with him. I felt that like you could have gotten him in the second round.
Yeah, where was he? He was projected to be pretty low.
Yeah, second round, I think, and it was a strange pick, especially with guys like Kyle Anderson still there and Glenn Robinson, who fell all the way to the second round. Clay Anthony early, also in the second round to the Knicks, which was a good pick. So a
Yeah,
lot of guys. Yeah, go ahead.
no, he didn't even have a single private workout with anyone, and a lot of GMs that like didn't even know anything about him. The coach Dwayne Casey said that he's one of the most athletic players in the draft. That he compared him to a young Rashard Lewis. Um, so it's either going to be a pretty dang good pick, or it's going to be probably one of the worst picks of all time. No, I'm just kidding, but like I, I just think it could be a really big bust, or he could work out in a couple of years. I don't know.
Yeah. So we went out of order, kind of, but let's just go down the line for the first round teams, and just say a quick comment on each pick. So what about
With the
Phoenix? Huh?
no, I think we're at wait, hold on. We're at Denver with Gary Harris now, right? We're at 19. Denver with Gary Harris. That's A for me. Gary Harris, one of the best two-way players in the draft, and you got a Flalo and Gary Harris now. That's a pretty good combination.
Yeah, you just need to develop him a little bit more, and he'll learn under Flalo, and if Flalo's hard work, he'll get to see what NBA hard work to see is like.
Yeah, I think it was a good value pick at 19, and he's a good shooter. So I think he'll play pretty well with Ty Lawson.
So Mitch McGary went at 21 to OKC, and this pick actually was still one of the picks left over from the James Harden trade, and they with the center, and it makes sense because that was a position that kind of they needed someone at, because besides Steven Adams and Ibaka, they didn't really have anyone else, and when Ibaka got hurt in the playoffs, you could see that OKC was lacking at that position. So I think it was a good pick, a little bit of a reach, but a good pick nonetheless.
Yeah, I think they really wanted him. I think they guaranteed that they would pick him. He averaged 10 points, 8 rebounds. I think he's going to be a decent player. Um, I just think that he was kind of a bit of a reach. They could have got some other good players. There's a pretty, a decent amount of good players still available, but I don't know. I just think I would probably give him probably a B minus.
To me, he's another Nick Collison. It was kind of a head scratcher for me, honestly, for OKC. At 22, Jordan Adams, who, in my opinion, one of the best scorers in the draft, but unathletic. I mean, but I really like his scoring ability. And I like anyone who could score, and this guy could score really well. And analytically, with Kevin Pelton's projected WARP, he was one of the best players in the draft. So he was good for his team. And John Hollinger, who helped pioneer those stats, he's in the Grizzlies front office. So this was one of those analytical picks. So that, I mean, I trust it.
And Memphis actually doesn't really score much, and they could use a guy who could score at the two, because with Tony Allen there at the two, you don't really have much scoring, and they've been missing scoring at that position ever since OJ Mayo left. So I think it was a decent pick. We'll see what happens. It was I think they could have gone with better guys there, but I think it was okay.
Yeah, I think he's an excellent scorer, like you guys said. He's a pretty good finisher around the rim, and I don't think he's a great shooter yet. I don't think his jump shot's there yet, but I think he's a good offensive player for Memphis, and they could use like you guys said, some offensive scoring.
So after Jordan Adams, we already talked about Rodney Hood, and I think everyone said that was a good pick. And then I think Shabazz Napier. We all know about Shabazz, and LeBron wanted him. He's a scoring point guard, and I think this means there's no more Mario Chalmers. I know Miami is trying to get rid of Norris Cole also, but Shabazz was a decent pick in at 24.
Oh yeah, I like it. And LeBron likes him. That's an A. 25 Rockets. Clint Capella out of Switzerland.
Defensive
Wow.
player with Serge Ibaka like comparisons, I
Ooh,
guess.
so whoa, Serge Ibaka, wow.
Yeah, I don't think he'll live up to that, but a potential pick nonetheless. And he's
So
yeah.
did Daryl Morey, known for being another analytical GM, right? He's really by the numbers guy. Apparently got one of the highest WARP players in this draft, Clint Capella. So this could end up being a steal.
Highest
Who's
what player?
WARP, wins above replacement.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
I heard he has elite athleticism. He can jump, uh, and I mean he's a project. Um, he's not
Yeah,
very he's not very smart.
he's really raw. I mean, I
Yeah,
wouldn't say he's not smart. He's just really raw. But he's long, he's athletic, and he was productive for his team. He did very good things, and he projects to be a good defender with his physical tools. So could be a
yeah,
steal. Um, I mean, next pick, PJ Hairston for the Bobcats.
Oh, I love this pick. I think he
I do
was
too.
underrated. He's a really good shooter. He could end up being one of the best shooting guards in this class. Actually, he could. I'm not going to say he's going to be better than Nick Stauskas, but I mean, I felt like the gap between him and Nick Stauskas wasn't that much, and the only thing is PJ really can't handle the ball. He turns the ball over too many times, and besides shooting, he doesn't do much else. But he's a proven scorer. He's played in the D League and professionally already, so I like that pick.
yeah. He averaged 22 points in the D League for the Texas Legends. I think that shows that he can play, kind of not NBA basketball, but pretty close. And he's a pretty dang good shooter. Also, defensively, he has pretty good wingspan that allows him to be a pretty good defender. I think it was a pretty good pick that late in the draft. I like it.
and the last two guys I didn't really scout, so I think we're done here, folks. Thank you for listening to Killing the Clock draft recap. We're we're gonna do a free agency one real soon, and we hope to see you again.